on my lane, you all on my lane. You ain't overlooked, so get out the way. I gave you the book, I gave you the game. The boy gotta cook, the boy got a flame, Serving in the kitchen like you Nino. Plenty pitching, whipping different flavors like a bistro. Kicking, dipping, flipping, keep it hunting like a C note. Switching, keep it pimping every single place that he go. I got it. Lathan got the flame, Lathan got the flame. Boy, you know the name, get up out the way. Lathan got the flame, Lathan got the flame. Stay up out the kitchen if you ain't the one that's whipping, huh? Hey, yo, Lathan, man, cook them boys up something real quick, man.
What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I got the most amazing chicken marsala recipe for you guys. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our parsley set up. Now parsley is pretty much just a garnish for this dish, so you can use it like I always say, or you can take it off if you don't want it. But it's always good to just see a good pop of green, especially with a dish that's so gray or brown. All right, so we got our parsley together. Then we're gonna get our shallot together. Now this recipe, I probably would have added just a little more shallot just for my taste, but my family really don't like onions like that, no matter if it's shallots, scallions, onions. So that's why I didn't put much onions in here. But if I'm cooking this dish for somebody else, I will put a little bit more shallots just for that flavor element that it brings to the dish. So once we got our shallots together, we're going to pop them in a vessel and put it aside. And this is all our mise en place. We're getting it all together. So you want to get all your prep together, because when you start cooking, everything goes fast. So after we get our shallots, we're going to go ahead and get our garlic together. Now I got about 4 or 5 cloves here, but you can add more garlic if you like more garlic, or you can add less garlic if you don't like garlic like that. But I think the garlic really brings this dish out, especially since this dish only has a few ingredients. So you want to make the best of what you have actually. So once we get our garlic together, I'm going to go ahead with our mushrooms. Now mushrooms, you want to make sure they're clean first. And don't run them under water. Just get you a damp cloth and wipe the mushrooms off. If you run them under water, mushrooms are like a sponge and they'll soak up the water, and you don't want that. So just clean the mushrooms and dice them up or slice them and set them aside. Then we got our chicken together. And for our chicken, we're going to go ahead and cut it in half, because you don't want to cook a ginormous piece of chicken, because we're going to braise it in this liquid, and the liquid is going to reduce. If you have a big piece of chicken, it's going to take it longer to cook, as well as you might lose all your liquid in a reduction. And once we cut those chicken breasts in half, we're going to actually pound them out. Now, when you get that meat mallet, just make sure you pound it in an angle and not just straight down, because you don't want to crush the chicken. You just want to spread it out a little bit. Once we got our chicken together, we got our breading station. Now this is just plain old AP flour, but I'm going to throw a little black pepper in there, and I'm also going to throw a dash of salt, because you want to season every layer. Also, you want to make sure you season the chicken and not just the breading. Like I said, we're seasoning in layers, and we're creating flavor in layers. If you just season one or the other, you're going to lack some flavor somewhere in there. So we're going to get our chicken seasoned on both sides with just salt. Like I told you before, pepper alters the dish, salt enhances, so we don't need much pepper in there. We already got it in our bread, and so for the chicken, we're just going to use straight salt. So once we get our salt in there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to batter it. Make sure when you batter it, you dust it off, because you don't want a bunch of flour on this. We just want a thin crust. And then we're going to go in with butter and olive oil, and that's what we're going to cook this dish in, because we're going to take those same butter and olive oil. Once we finish cooking the chicken, we're going to cook our mushrooms in there. Then we're going to deglaze, and you'll see that here in a second. But we're going to go in down with our chicken and make sure that heat is medium low, because you don't want to burn that butter and olive oil mixture. We mix those two together just so we have a high smoke point so it won't burn, but also make sure you pay attention to your heat source as well. Once we get them right there when they're golden brown, you know, the texture like sun, we're going to flip them. And once we get those bad boys flipped, we're going to let it cook on that side for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And then we're going to add in the second round of chicken. All right. Now, once we pop that chicken out, you see all that goodness in the bottom of that pan, that fun and that nice butter and olive oil. Now we're going to go on in with our mushrooms and begin to saute those. And once we get those mushrooms in there, we're going to just saute them until they're you can't say translucent because mushrooms not translucent, but we're going to saute them till they're down. Make sure you add a pinch of salt just to draw some of that moisture to help the saute process go by a lot faster. And once you get that good color on those mushrooms like that, which is beautiful, we're going to go ahead and add our shallots in there. And don't add your shallots before, because the mushroom is going to take a tad bit longer to cook than the shallot. So make sure you add them in this order. And also hold that garlic back. You'll see when I add that in. But we're going to get those shallots and the mushrooms good and toasted. Make sure you cook the shallots until they're just translucent. And once you see those guys become translucent, then we're going to add in our garlic. And the thing is, you don't want to burn the garlic, because when you burn the garlic, it just makes some bitter notes to the dish, which will crush the end result, and it will make it not as tasty as it could be. So just make sure you pay attention to, like I said, the heat source, and make sure you're cooking in this order. So the things that cook longer cook first, and so on. So there you have it. Look at those beautiful mushrooms, garlic, and shallots. Then once we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and deglaze with some Marsala. I got some American Marsala. Make sure when you go get Marsala, you get dry Marsala and not sweet Marsala. Sweet Marsala is traditionally used for desserts, like cannolis and such. People add Marsala to those. So you don't want the sweet Marsala, you want the dry Marsala, because you want a savory dish. And we're going to cook that Marsala out until it's like nothing. Syrup, you see what I'm saying? And then we're going to go on ahead and deglaze again, but this time we're going to go in with some beef broth. Now, when people use or cook Marsala, they usually use chicken broth, which is fine, but I figured using beef broth, it'll add more flavor and more depth of flavor. And that's why I did that. But you can use chicken stock if you want to, but if you want that good rich depth of flavor, go ahead and add some beef stock. And you know how I do my beef stock from scratch, but if you don't want to make scratch beef stock, make sure you use some good beef stock from the store, but just make sure it's reduced sodium or no sodium. I prefer using no sodium at all, because you can control your own salt levels. But if you can't find no sodium, at least make sure it's reduced sodium. So you also want to taste, make sure it's not lacking any flavor. If it's lacking a little bit, throw a little salt in there, but also wait, because you're still going to reduce this thing all the way down. And then we're going to go ahead and add our chicken in at this point, and we're going to let it braise the rest of the way in the sauce as the sauce reducing. And that sauce will be nappe at the end, because we're reducing it in a pan that's a wide pan. So it helps the reduction a lot better versus if it was in a pot. So you got more surface area and more evaporation. Don't cover it, because you want that reduction. And we just let it go. Look at that. And also, you seen me pour those pan juices in there from the plate that we had the chicken resting on after we seared it. Make sure you put those pan juices in there as well, because that's flavor. You don't want to throw that away. That's more flavor to this dish. And there we go. We're going rogue now. And I'm just showing you the bubbling and the reduction. So like I said, it's a process. What we're doing here, we just braising this chicken in this Marsala sauce, which is very, very, very tasty. When we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and Monte burr and pretty much throw some cold butter into this sauce. And what that cold butter is going to do is give that sauce a nice sheen, nice glaze, beautiful color, silky. We're making it silky. And there you go, nappe. We can separate and those borders don't touch. So that's when you know your sauce is perfect and we're ready. And so we're going to go down with some buttermilk mashed potatoes. Now, I didn't show you how to make those buttermilk mashed potatoes because I got plenty of videos with those same potatoes, and I will link them down below. I didn't feel the need to continue to hound the same potatoes on you guys. But then there we go with the chicken Marsala. Beautiful. We're going to add more mushrooms and more sauce on there. And also for this dish, I featured my garlic broccoli. I haven't featured that on the channel yet, but it's coming when I do vegetables. I'm going to show you guys how to make that garlic broccoli. And it's pretty much sauteed broccoli with a ton of garlic. Just how I like it. Like I said, omit, keep, it's up to you. But I kind of like a lot of garlic. especially with my vegetables. It just intensifies everything, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But there you guys have it, man. The most amazing chicken marsala. Hope you guys like this video, man. Like I said, it was simple, with some technique, with the right ingredients, man. You can blow this dish out the water, and this same dish at some of your Italian restaurants, man, will cost you $20, $30, man. Which you seen, it took me no time to make with some simple ingredients. So like the bottle marsala was like $6, and the chicken, I mean, it's cheap, man. It's like $1.99 a pound. You know what I'm saying? You don't even need a pound of chicken in this recipe. So I want to thank you guys for checking this video out, man. This video you can make at your house, chicken marsala. But thank you guys for checking the video out. Like, comment, share, subscribe. The most amazing chicken marsala. I'm out.